So this session is being recorded. If you forget something, you want to go back and review it, you'll be able to. I'll go ahead and make this recording available in Canvas. Probably not tonight. Probably sometime tomorrow. Okay, so let's get started. My name is Andres Hinojosa. Most people refer to me as Andy. I don't really care how you refer to me as long as I know that you're referring to me and you don't add any profanity, and we'll probably be okay. All right. Let's see. A little bit about me. I'm actually originally from Tulare, born and raised here in Tulare. I actually went to COS way back in the day. It was a long time ago. But I only did like 1 year, and then I transferred down to Cal State University of Northridge. Went down, and while I was there, I quickly had to start working full time to survive. And then I ended up getting married with my wife, who's also from Tulare. But when she moved down there, she wasn't as thrilled with Los Angeles as I was. So she persuaded me to return back home, which worked out okay because I ended up finishing my both my undergraduate degree and my graduate degree at California State University of Fresno. Go Bulldogs. And my undergraduate degree is a business administration with an emphasis in accounting. My graduate degree is an MBA with an emphasis on information systems. So that's my education. Professionally, while I was finishing up my undergrad degree at Fresno State, I was actually working for the city of Sanger. I started working there as a part-time accountant, and that turned into a number of positions. Let's see, senior accountant, deputy director of finance, and then finance. I left there as the finance director. But when I left there, I found a position closer to home because I was living in Tulare and commuting to Sanger. I found a position in Exeter, California, with an ag firm, and started working as a controller for them. And then Sun Pacific Farming, they do farming, harvesting. I don't know. Most of us Mexicans have family that have worked for Sun Pacific, but under different circumstances, right? So I worked as a controller, CFO controller for them, and then I decided to become a CPA, which meant I had to go back and work for a CPA firm. And so I quit my position there as a controller and started working for a CPA firm in Visalia. There were two CPA firms. Actually, it was Randy Stevens and Steve Bratcher. So I worked for those two firms for a number of years, and I became certified in 2003. I became a CPA in 2003. And then in 2005, I opened up my own practice. I have a small little CPA firm here in Tulare. It's made up of me and about 5 employees, and then also typical Mexican. I have my familia working there as well, so they just work around doing things. And I think my daughter's in charge of making sure that the internet is working, but I'm not quite sure. All right, she's there. So in any event, let's see. As far as teaching is concerned, when I started working for a CPA firm, I took a pretty big cut in pay. So I had to find a way to supplement the income. So I started teaching. At that time, I had just finished up my master's program and started teaching at night. My first gig was with Porterville College, and then I started teaching for the University of Phoenix. I've been teaching with Phoenix, Fresno Pacific. I even taught a little bit at Reedley College, and I started teaching adjunct in 2002 at College of the Sequoias. I stopped teaching for them, and I don't remember why, but then I started teaching again. I think it was like 2005 or something, 2006, and then a full-time position came up, and I went ahead and applied, and I was able to go on board as a full-time instructor. So that happened in 2007, and so for the most part, I teach primarily accounting, business courses, accounting, and also information systems courses. Let's see. Personally, I've been married now for, I'm not real good with numbers. It's been a long time. Let's see, I guess 31 years, 32, it's going to be 32 years to the same person, which makes me mad because all of my friends are like on their third wives. And I said, how come I only got one and they ended up getting 3? So I kind of feel like I got the short end of the stick, but it is what it is, right? She puts up with me and my dark sense of humor, and so I guess I should be happy about that. Let's see. We have a beautiful, I'm sorry, go ahead.
How do you manage public accounting and teaching during the same time?
I do. I just do it.
I just do it.
I work a lot, so you know, I mean,
bet.
Especially during tax season. The hard part is tax season, which it so happens that at this time we're going to be together during tax season. But I'm pretty efficient at what I do as well, as far as teaching my courses and putting everything together. Efficiency is probably the only thing I could say that could really explain it.
Yes.
I don't dilly-dally very much. I'm one that likes to just get things done, but you know, I don't know. Efficiency, I guess that's the only way I can explain it. So
yes.
And then I work a lot of hours as well. So it's not like I have 40-hour weeks. That doesn't happen. So
yeah, no, completely. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah. So let's see. I think it was on my beautiful little girl. She's not so little anymore. Actually, she just graduated from Fresno State, and she's in the credential program, and she's working for Sundale Elementary School. So hopefully soon, because I'm running out of money, she'll finish off her credential program and actually start taking care of Dad. That's going to be really nice when she's able to take care of Dad. The only provision I gave her was that she does not put me in a nursing home. I don't want to go. I don't care how bad I am. She's going to have to, she'll end up putting me in a nursing home. I know she's going to do it, but it doesn't matter. It is what it is. So let's see. What else do you guys need to know about me? Any questions, issues, or concerns? Okay, very good. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, kind of take over the screen so that we can see what we're all looking at. So I'm going to go to our course. Our course is Accounting 2, CRN 26687. Can you guys let me know for sure that I'm in the right class? Because I'm doing a lot of these and I want to, how about a thumbs up if this is the right class? Okay, very good. All right. Daisy and Marcos, I know you don't have your video and you're not required to do this. It would be nice if you turn your videos on so I could see facial expressions. If you're not comfortable with it for whatever reason, whether you didn't comb your hair right now just before you got online or whatever, that's perfectly fine. You don't have to. But if you could, it would be nice to see videos so I could at least kind of monitor whether people are actually understanding what we're going through. So I'm going to go first to the home page, and I need some help here, okay? This gets really confusing when you go to the Accounting 2 26687 and you go to the home page. My question to all of you is, where do you suppose I should start? Any hints from anybody in class would be really nice because I get confused on this. Today, anybody? Go ahead and unmute.
Where it says start here.
Oh my goodness. Amazing. How about we try that link? I bet you that's going to be a good one, right? So we'll do that. We'll put start link, start here. And oh my goodness, we have our syllabus and our calendar here. So which are going to be the two most important documents you want to have. Let's go ahead and pull up the syllabus. All right, you have my contact information here. I'm going to ask you to burn this top of the front page once you're done because that is my cell number. You're not supposed to have my cell numbers. That's private, but you know, it just works. If you're gonna text me, all right, make sure you tell me who you are and what class you're in, because I'll get a text that say, hey, what time is the exam due? I don't, are you kidding me? I've got 6 other classes I have going on. They all have different exams at different times. I don't know, and then I don't know who you are, and that gets a bit annoying. I'm gonna push this off to the side so that you can see the full screen. So that's my contact information. I guess I could set it up. Oh, actually, no, that isn't my cell number. That's actually the office phone number. Huh. I guess I should fix that. I'm going to fix that so that you, oh no, right here it says someone. So the office number and the cell. Oh, so you've got me on both ends. All right. Anyway, so this is kind of what I went over right now when I was just talking about myself. You got a little more information in some cases and maybe a little bit less. So you can review that at your leisure. Here is the required textbook and access lab requirement. It is the managerial accounting, Ron Teets Managerial Accounting, the 5th edition, and there's the ISBN. In order for you to access my lab, I'm going to need you to do that in Canvas, because my lab is actually embedded in Canvas. So if you try to sign up for my lab outside of Canvas, it's going to ask you for a course key, and there is no course key. So I can bet I'm going to get an email and say, hey, can you give me the course key? And I'm going to reply, there is no course key. You have to sign up for my lab through Canvas, and you just simply click on the links in Canvas. So in other words, you'll click on this, My Lab, and then when it'll look a little different, but there'll be something like sign on or enter My Lab or something. When you click on that, you'll immediately get a screen that requires you to log in. If you've had a Pearson account in the past, you should be able to log in with your username and password. If not, you'll be prompted to create your account. And then once you've got your account, then it's going to prompt you to either use a 14-day temporary access so that you can get started in the class, or it's going another option is go ahead and pay for your class. Now, if you bought an access code, let's say through the bookstore, then you will have the access code to get into the class. Now, at that point in time, when you click on Open My Lab, you can enter the code that you receive with the My Access from anywhere else that you bought it, most likely from the library or from the bookstore at COS. So you can then use it. But if you bought the access code and you're looking at the instructions there from the bookstore, don't follow those instructions, because it's going to ask you to go to My Lab or myaccounting.com, and it's going to screw you all up. Okay, so make sure you do everything within Canvas. Once it asks you for the code, if you have the access code, you can enter it at that point in time. Otherwise, you can pay for it when you enter immediately then, and then it'll give you some options as to what exactly you want to pay for. Okay, so that includes, now I've had a few questions about, well, can I do it? I guess it's a $60-some option. That $60-some is just going to give you my access, the access code, so that you can access my accounting lab. And then there's going to be a $100 option, or close to $100, which is going to be both the access code and an ebook. And that's probably the least expensive way to run this course, or for students to purchase it. The one caveat is you've got to be comfortable with ebooks. Okay, you've got to be comfortable to be able to use an ebook rather than a physical book. If you want a physical book, then there is an option at the bookstore that I think that ends up costing something like about $300. All right, but another option would be that you just purchase the $60 access code, and then see if you can purchase a book or rent a book from somewhere else. As long as you make sure, but you do have to have the access code to do your homework assignments, and you do have to have a book. It could be electronic book, but if you prefer a physical book, then there are a number of ways, and most students are pretty how would you say, pretty aggressive with finding deals online, but be careful. You make sure if you're going to find a place online that has the book and you're going to purchase it, don't go to wescrewstudents.com, in other words, okay? Just go to places that are reputable, like and I don't know if this is they have it, but like Amazon.com or other places that you might have used in the past that you know are that work. Okay, don't just look online and find, hey, look, this is a good one, and it's only going to be $3, and then you enter your MasterCard information, you get charged $200, and you don't get anything. Okay, so there are a lot of wescrewstudents.com out there, so be careful. All right, make sure you don't fall for one of those that are not good. So those are your options. Before I leave, are there any questions about texts or materials? Any questions at all? No? Very good. All right, the student learning outcomes, you can read through those, the course content of the chapters. One thing here to note under evaluation, late assignments will not be accepted. All right, all assignments must be submitted in my accounting lab. They're by the due date and time. So late assignments will not be accepted. You can email me and ask for an extension or whatever, but in almost all cases, I'm going to say no. All right. So the only exceptions are medical emergencies, and if you happen to test positive with COVID, let me know and we'll work that out. In fact, I just graduated. I tested positive right before Christmas, and my symptoms were not light, but they weren't terrible either. I did go to the hospital because I became concerned on Christmas Day, and they ran all kinds of tests on me, and thankfully I wasn't sick enough for them have to keep me in the hospital. So I was able to come home and slowly recover. It's already been about 2 weeks since I tested positive, and it took a long. I mean, I had a fever for like a week and a half. Why would that happen? A fever for a week and a half, and after about 5 days of fever, you're like, what is going on here? This just doesn't make sense. And then you start seeing everything on TV and start thinking, maybe my number is up. It gets scary. So, but thankfully I was able to get through it. I still have a little bit that I'm recovering from, but over the last few days, things have gotten a lot better. So thankfully everything is better. But if you do, I know what it feels like to get up in the morning and say, I don't feel like doing anything today. I know what that feels like. So if you test positive, I certainly will. Let's see, any other medical emergencies, either for you or your family. But okay, we got to be careful with all this too, because let's assume you're working on your homework, right? And somebody next to you ends up on the floor having a heart attack or something, okay? Now, let's also assume that you've been trained in CPR. So, of course, you need to stop working on your homework and administer CPR, right? But if you think about it, if they don't come around in about 2 to 3 minutes, there's really no sense in you losing both the patient, both the person that's there, and then end up missing out on your homework. So, do what you can, but if they don't kind of come through for you, get right back on your homework. You guys aren't following along. You guys are thinking I'm real serious on this. I'm just kidding. That was a joke, all right? You need to administer CPR. You need to help that person. That's your number one priority. And then let me know about the circumstances and we'll work about it. But that if you email me and say, hey, things were really tough at work this week, and I had to work some extra hours, that's going to be a no. I can just tell you, you can email me, but that's going to be a no. You have to find a way to work around all of your other commitments. And I know you guys have some. I know you have family. I know some of you have children. But that's what part of going to school is trying to managing everything. Okay, so if we have some system problems, I may give extensions on times as well. But for the most part, there are no makeups on tests or quizzes. There is no extra credit in this class. So the way to do well in this class is to get things done. I can tell you this class is going to be a tough class, But I can tell you this, that anybody, all my students who have done all the work, who have not missed any assignment, uh, uh, they'll pass the class. It just happens because they're committed to trying to get the work done. They may not, it may be a C minus, but they get past the class. So if your main concern is passing the class, then you have to make sure you do all of the assignments. What gets a little bit disappointing is when I get towards the end of the semester and somebody is actually got a 68.5 and they're asking me to help them out. And I go back and look at their assignments and they missed this quiz, they missed this homework assignment, they missed this discussion week. And so, I mean, how can I help you out when you pretty much, if you would have covered even getting half of those points, you would have easily been in a C. But because you missed those assignments, you ended up more in a D range. And so there won't be any adjustments for that or any consideration for that, because if you do all your assignments, you're going to at least get a C in this class. So make sure you do all of your assignments. Now, so having said that, there is some participation requirements in this course because it's online. So what we're doing is supplementing, or actually compensating for the fact that we're not meeting in a live class. The online requirements, the discussions, are really a way to try to offset that loss with some discussions, at least a little bit of discussion to help again offset the loss of being able to have a discussions in a classroom. So every week you will be required to participate in weekly online discussions. The online week begins on Monday at 12 a.m. So this is our first week. It started at 12 a.m. this morning, and it ends at Sunday, 11:59 p.m. Each week, the instructor will post discussion questions in the discussions forums located in Canvas. During the online week, students will be required to, your first thing to do is to post one reply message that contains 2 well-developed paragraphs and clearly addresses the discussion questions. The instructor will not consider a single sentence paragraph as well developed. So a single sentence with answering one of the discussions questions will not be considered enough. Okay, so make sure you elaborate. The discussion questions are general enough so that there's a lot to say. So I'm not worried about you running out of things to say. You just to answer the question will be required certainly more. If you just have one single sentence that tries to address a particular question, that means you're not working hard enough to get to address it. All right, now after you post that one reply to the discussions, you're then going to be required to post 2 separate posts to reply to 2 other students. All right, so your total posting requirements for the week is 3 posts. 1 to reply to the DQs that are already there, and then responding to 2 different students for their posts. Now, what does that mean? What are you going to do when you reply to those posts? You're going to, those posts need to show evidence of critical thinking and meaningful interaction with the posting, as well as the course resources. And you should ask engaging questions or provide insight into the discussion. So if you reply something like, I agree, let's say Marcos, you posted your first initial well-developed responses to the DQs, and then Daisy comes in later and sees your post and replies to your post, Marcos. And what she does, when she replies to it, she says, great post, really helped me understand what's going on, thank you. And that's it? Well, that's not substantive, okay? For it to be substantive, you've got to add to the discussion. So let me give you a little bit. Both quantity and quality are important considerations when posting substantive messages. For example, I agree is not considered substantive because it does not add anything of substance to the discussion. A single sentence post will not be considered substantive, okay? So I'll give you some feedback, especially from the first week, almost within a couple of days after the week ends. And I think you really only, you start having grading posts required in week 2. So this week you're good to go. There is going to be some discussions, but it's only going to be like an introduction that allows you to post who you are and what things are going on. In week 2 is when we actually start the real discussions that are graded. And then after week 2 is over, within a couple of days, I will give you some feedback immediately, so that if you're not getting 100% of the points, you'll be able to see where you might have gone wrong and fix it right away. Because it's not going to be cool if I wait, 7 days and then you get 2 weeks of bad grades, and then you've got the information you need for the 3rd week. But I'm going to get you there. But for the most part, you reply to the discussion questions, which will be almost a slammer in the context of it's really from the textbook. Okay, so the information you're going to be able to need in order to reply to those discussion questions will come from the textbook. And then from then on, just make sure that you reply. So as an example, let's say Daisy, instead of just saying, I agree with Marco's post, you might say, hi, Marcos, I really like how you explained A, B, C, D about management accounting. There are other things that I'd like to, that I often think about with management accounting, including E, F, G. What are your thoughts about that? So in essence, you acknowledge Marcos, what he posted, you added to his response, and then you asked a question. If you do those 3 things, you've got easily a substantive post, okay? So with that, you'll be able to get full credit easily, all right? So I guess my rule of thumb is, if I want to make sure that what I'm posting is going to be substantive, it's going to be at least 3 sentences, at least 3 sentences. 1, acknowledging what, the post. 2 is adding more to that post by whatever whatever you want to do is add to his post or to the other student's post. And then you ask an engaging question at the end. What are your thoughts? Or have you considered this? And then that keeps the discussions going, right? That's the whole point of the discussion process. All right, before I move on with beyond the discussions, are there any questions about discussions online?
Is there a length as far as the discussion with one student that you want to see? I know you want 2 different students, or you want to reply for 2 different students, but is there a certain length for one student?
Are you talking about number of words?
No, I mean, maybe different responses, or
No.
how many responses you want. Okay.
No, there's no other requirement other than what's listed in the discussions thread here. It'd be unfair for me to ask you to do certain things and if I wanted something, then I'd have to put it here. But
Perfect.
you are to reply to the discussions, and then reply to 2 others, 2 different posts, and and then meet the substantive requirements, and you should be okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions about discussions? Okay, very good. We have the drop policy. You can review that. Here are the grading criteria. You have 4 exams. They're 100 points each. Homework assignments are 16 of them. There are 20 points each. The quizzes are 20 points each. The final exam is 200 points. The discussions and participation is 320 points. So really, I mean, honestly, the discussion and participation is the easiest points you can earn in this class. The others, the homework assignments, there's no time limits, and I think you have 5 attempts. So you should be able to do well on the homework assignments. The quizzes are, they can be a bit tough, but, I mean, they're not heavily weighted relative to the others. And then the exams are probably going to be the hardest. But I will tell you, for both the quizzes and the exams, I do normalize grades. So what I do, I look at is both the average score of the students, and then the high score of the students. And I'll give you an example. Let's say for the first chapter quiz, let's say the average score was 65%, and the high score was 90%. Well, everybody's going to get a 10% adjustment on their grade. So it'll move up. So I look at both the high score and I look at the average or median of the scores as well. Really, the median is what I look at. Well, I look at both. I look at the average and the median, see where they sit. Usually they're pretty close to one another. So it's not uncommon for me to adjust 5%, maybe 10%. Not often that I do more than 10%. And that will apply to quizzes, that will apply to all exams, and it will apply to the final exam. Okay? So everything will be normalized. Whatever score you get, what I'm suggesting to you is don't panic if it's not what you wanted. There is a chance that I'm going to come back after the scores are done and then adjust some scores. And then after I make the adjustments, I will post what adjustments I made, and then you can see. Hopefully it'll be okay. Alyssa, you had a question?
Yes, I just wanted to confirm that there is not just one midterm. There's going to be 14 quizzes, I guess, and then the final exam. Is that in person is what it looks like on the calendar?
No, there are no in-person requirements. All of these are done in my accounting lab, and I played with the idea of making it a requirement to use the tutoring center or the exam, but that's not possible because of COVID. So everything is done you're done on your own time. You don't have the bad news is you don't have access to exams, quizzes, or even homework assignments before the week. They're all timed out, and you can't work ahead is what I'm saying to you. You'll simply just have to work week by week. I have tried in the past to allow students to do that, and that's created nothing but issues with me, because all of a sudden a student sends an email to me that says, oh, I clicked on the wrong exam. And when I know that they simply just downloaded it and now they have access to it, and they're going to, fill in the answers at their leisure and then go back on, because they're going to ask me to reset the exam for them. And, it's just issues I don't like to deal with. So.
Gotcha. And the meeting are we just meeting on Zoom at 8:10 on Monday? Because I see different, I guess, times. So the final exam is due on 5/17 at 4 p.m., but then there's a 8 a.m. time.
Right. This 8 a.m. on this class, really? Did I do that?
It just says final exam meeting date, but it's kind of below the grid.
So there's going to be a final exam meeting date, and really that should have applied to this class, but I'm doing it for the other class, so I'll do it for you guys.
Okay.
There's no requirement for you to be there. There's never throughout the entire semester do you have a requirement to be online. Now, I do hold both class times for those that were supposed to be live. This was not supposed to be live, but I'm gonna tell you that one of the courses I do teach was supposed to be live, and so that class was supposed to meet on Monday and Wednesdays from 8 to 10, 8:10 to 10. Okay, so I am gonna hold those classroom hours, those class times, but I'm not going to teach anything. I'm just going to make it available for students who have questions, issues, or concerns. Okay. So
perfect. Okay.
So you will have, now what I did is I created these videos that are essentially the lecture videos for each chapter. So you'll be able to see me and see the videos, and that's pretty close to the way I run the classes or run the live classes. I ended up doing a little bit more PowerPoint, because a lot of times in the classroom I actually write things out, but I had to weigh when I could write some things out, and you'll see. And when I actually do write things out, it's not a physical write out, it'll be the use of spreadsheets, and you could see what I'm doing and when I'm doing it. So hopefully the lecture videos will help you with issues. But in addition to that, so you're getting twice the value here for what you paid. Oh my goodness, you should be happy here. All right. Yes. Don't celebrate. Calm down, guys. All right. You're going to get the lecture videos that I usually do in class, and my availability during 8 to 10 p.m. on Monday and Wednesday mornings, which is for another class, but because it's the accounting 2 you can crash that, and I will be happy to help you. And you're following the same schedule as that class as well, so that would be cool. So those are the two things that, in fact, when I used to teach these online classes, I didn't have lecture videos, and I didn't really have available time for them because we were doing live classes. So that's kind of one of the things that I think has been actually helpful for me to help students. Now, in addition to those Monday and Wednesday class times, I'm also holding office hours between 10 and 11 a.m. every morning. Now, you will be getting announcements for those office hours, you know, whenever I have them. So you probably got one this morning that said, hey, I'm available in the office, and it was between 10 and 11. So that's another time when you can actually come in and see me, okay? Let's see if I posted did I post my office hours? I could push that right now if I haven't done so. I'm gonna go ahead and go to files and upload the file.
While you're doing that, I'll let you know it's 3517 Alabama.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Spring 2021, and this is accounting. Well, I think my, there it is. Okay, so my spring 2021. So I just uploaded, I'm gonna go to modules, and in the start here, I'm gonna go ahead and add that. So Andy's spring schedule. Okay, so I just added my spring schedule here, and you'll see that okay, so you'll see that I have accounting 2 here on these 2 dates, Monday and Wednesdays. Technically, that's not your class. Technically, that's my live class, but because you're on the same calendar, you can crash it. And then on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I have office hours as well, and that's for everybody who comes in for any class, okay? I do have a class of Business 295 that's on Fridays, but and if nobody is, and that happens often, if nobody comes in and you have some questions and Friday mornings work out best for you, I'm gonna give a priority to those students, but in many cases, I'm just working on some other stuff, and then, you know, a student will show up. So if it works out that on a Friday morning, you can talk to me, and I'm, you know, in the priority list, you're the first one up, then that'll be fine. What I'll do is that if you come in and I'm talking to somebody else, I'll put you in the waiting room and let you know that I'll talk to you immediately or as soon as I can. And then when I'm done with that first student, then I'll go ahead and let you in, and you'll be good to go. So, but those are my office hours. They are available on Canvas, so you can download them at your leisure, okay? All right, so any other questions? I guess that was off of your question, Alyssa. Did that address your questions, Alyssa?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead. We've gone through the syllabus, right? Or do we finish the syllabus? Yeah, because we went through all the point spread and everything, so yes. All right, if we go to the calendar, that's probably the second most important. Oh, I wouldn't say second most. These are equally important. They go hand in hand. You have to know what time things are due. Okay, so here's the calendar. This first week, you are really, the objective for this week is to make sure you've set up My Accounting Lab, pay for your subscription, or go ahead and use that 14-day subscription. And everything to get you all set up for this week is due by Monday of next week. Now, here's what I want to remind you of. And I know it seems a little bit weird at first, but it works out better for you, okay? When I talk about the discussions, I mentioned to you that the beginning and ending dates are Monday through Sunday night, right? Those are the discussion. That's the week. And so the discussions end on Sunday evening at 11:59, just like it's posted in the syllabus. So technically, I probably should have all my assignments due on Sunday evening at 11:59 because that's the end of the week, right? But I give you an extension to the following Monday. So as an example, even though the week ends on 24, on Sunday the 24th, your assignments for that week are due on Monday the 25th at 4 p.m. So the reason why I did that is because I was getting tired of people sending me emails at Sunday at 7 p.m. and all these technical issues that there would be no, and I'm not even online on Sunday anyway. So I get up Monday morning and there's all these issues that I have to address and try to figure out what we're going to do. So the good news is that I'm giving you an extension to submit your weekly assignments to the following Monday. In the event there are some last minute questions, in fact, I'll even have an office hour for you or a time for you to come in and ask your final questions for that week. You can't do that on Sunday. I mean, I guess I could, but that would be rude to people who don't like to be there on Sundays, including me. I don't like to be there Sundays, right? Sundays are reserved. So you will have one more chance to come in on that Monday morning and ask me questions about any of the homework assignments, and that'll give you one last chance to touch base with me. And then if about 2 or 3 o'clock you're having technical issues, I kind of watch, especially around 4 p.m. to see what's going on and try to help solve problems as well. But for the most part, there's rarely any technical issues with my lab. So if you do stumble across a problem, make sure you recognize that if it's a global problem, if my lab is down, then I'm going to give an extension. But what I'm going to strongly recommend for you is that you use 2 browsers. What works well for me is Google Chrome, but Microsoft Edge is available, and then Firefox is also another browser. But I would recommend that you have 2 browsers. In the event one seems to be faltering or not working for you, then you switch to the other browser, okay? You will be required, and there's a reminder when you go into My Lab, is to turn off your pop-up blockers, because that will be a problem for you. So make sure you have the right settings on your browsers. So you could have a problem with your browsers. If that's not fixing your problem to get in My Lab, you can't assume that My Lab is down. You cannot assume that. So what does that mean? That means you're probably going to have at least 2 devices that you have access to at home or elsewhere if you need to. So 2 devices means that if this computer is not working, you either have another computer or something that'll give you a Chrome. I think a Chromebook will work, but I'm not a big fan of those either. But to have access to My Account Lab. So you need to have at least 2 devices. And in addition to that, you need to have 2 access points for 2 internet providers. So if you have internet at your home, that's great. But if that goes down, you won't get an extension. You're going to have to find a way to get to brother, cousin, sister, uncle, aunts at work, whatever. You're going to have to find a way to get to another access site so that you can complete your assignments, okay? So the objective here is to teach you what it's like in the real world, and that is, you've got to have backup systems in place. I've got a ton of backup systems in my office, and I can't just say that, April 15th, all our computers went down, and so I'm sorry I wasn't able to do your tax return. It's like, are you kidding me? They're expecting me to come through or find ways to do things, and so I make sure that we have our systems in place, make sure we have different ability to do different things at different times, all right? So that's what it is in the real world. That's the way it's going to be in our classroom as well. All right, so the good news is you don't have to worry about anything in the first week as far as My Accounting Lab assignments. They are going to be accessible to you, so you can get in and get started on Chapter 1 assignments if you would like to, but nothing is due. In addition to that, you have no real graded discussion requirements. In week 2 is when your real graded discussion requirements are hitting, and then your Chapter 1 assignments are going to be due. They are going to actually be due on Monday the 25th. And then, speaking of efficiency, the way it works the same way every week from then on out. Every week we're covering a chapter. There are cases when we're actually covering chapters in 2 weeks, and when that occurs, the quiz is going to be due on the second week, not on the first week, okay? So you will have homework requirements for that first week, you'll have homework requirements for the second week, and the second week you will also have the quiz for that particular chapter. And this goes on every week from then on, and everything is due on Mondays at 4 p.m., and your online discussions are due on Sunday evening at 11:59 p.m. All right, and that goes all the way through to the end. I guess this is what you were referring to that I mentioned in that we have an online final exam meeting date. This is, again, for you if you have any final questions about your grades, anything that needs to be discussed before the year, before the semester's over. You have one last chance to come at me in a Zoom Lives type setting. But your actual homework that's required is due on Monday, May 17th at 4 p.m. I try to keep the 4 p.m. consistent and the dates and times as well pretty consistent. Okay? All right, are there any questions about the calendar at all? Any questions at all? Everything pretty clear? All right. So from here, the course syllabus and the course calendar are pretty much what drives this class. We'll take a look more at the modules and see what else is there in case you have something. The participation requirements, I post them there again. So they're all over the place. They're here in Canvas, they're on the syllabus. If you have your My Accounting Lab resources and registration, you can click on that. There's some guidance on how to make that all work. My contact information is here, which you have on the syllabus as well. There are some links here if you struggle with Canvas. If you're new to Canvas, to learn how to use Canvas, there's some support. There's a questions thread that is here in Canvas, which allow you to post questions to me. Now, I should be, and I'm going to double check right here, I'm subscribed to it. So that means that if you post any questions here, I'm going to get an email that tells me what's been here. So I should reply within, my rule of thumb is within 24 hours, but that's my personal, my commitment is within 48 hours. And the reason why I say 48 hours, if you post something, let's say I go to bed at Saturday at 8 or 9 p.m., which I'm an old man, so I do those real early things now, you know, on a Saturday night. Are you kidding me? Yeah, so that's what old men do, right? We go to bed early on Saturday nights. And then you decide you're going to work on Saturday evening and post something like about 9:30 p.m. Well, I'm not going to be checking anything on Sunday because I kind of check out Sundays. So there's going to be 24 hours, and then maybe if I've got a busy Monday morning, I may not be able to get to anything till maybe the afternoon or even in the evening. So my commitment is within 48 hours, okay? But in most cases, it's going to be just a few hours because I'm constantly online anyway, checking on things and checking my emails, et cetera, to make sure I address questions. So you can use this. Now, I will tell you that if you post a question in Canvas, if it's anything related specifically to your grade, I cannot answer it in Canvas. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reply to it and send an email to me, and we'll do that privately, all right? If it's a general question, I can definitely, or a general question about an assignment, about the course, about, you know, when things are due, blah, 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 that's fine. But if it's a specific issue about your grade, I'm going to have to discuss that with you privately. Okay, we're not going to post for the entire world to see what your grades are. All right, those are FERPA violations. I don't go to jail, but I could be in big trouble for it. All right. All right. Let's go back to modules and. There's the questions thread. I just posted my schedule so you can see what that is. The optional Zoom meeting was there for you guys today. And then there's this general Zoom meeting, which is really the same links. And every time I'm here online, ready to respond to you, I will send you an announcement. I guess I can go ahead and do that for you as well on Mondays and Wednesday mornings. Okay, so I'll remind myself. Normally I would just do the live class, but I'll go ahead and do that for this class. So whenever I'm on Monday and Wednesday mornings, you will get an announcement on your email, and then the office hours That would be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You're going to get sick of seeing these emails from me. It's going to be like, really? Could you stop bothering me? But I do that to make sure that you know that I'm available and remind you that you can come in and come chit chat with me. Okay, this next modules area, you'll see all the lecture videos that I have. They're embedded in Canvas. They're actually uploaded in YouTube, but they're embedded in Canvas, so you can watch them all right here. And then from then on, every week, you should be able to see what's required in week 1, optional Zoom meeting, which is what you're here right now. And then your introduction. So you can, if you want a quick look at what's required. So here's your optional introduction that you could post if you'd like to share with the other students what you're about, who you're about, and then see what other students are doing. That gives you at least a little bit of ability to get to know one another, which is very difficult sometimes in an online environment, but so I try to give you opportunities to do that. Week 2, you have your lecture video that for chapter 1, which is in that other section, but it's here as well. Your discussions, you can take a quick look at the discussion for week 2. Here's an example. You respond to the following discussions. There's 2 of them. What are the 3 main areas of management responsibility? How are the 3 areas interrelated? How does managerial accounting support each of the responsibility areas of the managers? So you could tell, like, okay, a one sentence response to this doesn't work. Okay, that's not gonna work. Number 2, you have another paragraph that's going to be, what are the skills that are required for a management accountant? In what college courses are these skills taught or developed? What skills would be further developed in the workplace? Okay, so again, you can see that I don't usually have issues with students who, just have one sentence to respond to those discussion questions. It just doesn't work. But I do have students who often, with the second part, and that is reply to 2 other students. I often get students say, hey, that was a great post. Thank you. That made it so much easier for me to understand things. And just so that you know, it's a go, no go. It's not going to be, so let's say you have one substantive reply. Well, first of all, let's say the first 2 questions, that's one post, that's going to be worth 10 points. Okay, 10 points. So if you reply to those, you're going to get 10 points out of the 20. And then the 2 posts that are required afterwards, they're 5 points apiece. Each one of them is either substantive or not substantive. It's not like you'll get a partial grade because it was kind of substantive or it wasn't. So you'll either, if you get 2 posts that are substantive, you'll get 5 points each. That gives you the 10 points. 10 plus the 10 on the discussion, on the original discussion questions, gives you a total of 20 points, which is what is required. So you're either going to get 0, 10, 15, or 20. Okay, those are the options. You're not going to get anything in between because there's no partial in between. All right, so here's an example of the discussions, and let's see. Let's go back to modules. We were in week 1 or week 2 actually. Week 2, you have the lecture videos, the discussions, the homework, and the chapter quiz. All right, and then from there, it's I talk again. Just remind you, I say about efficiency. It's the same thing every week, which makes things much more efficient, right? You can just go through. There's not going to be any twists or turn here. You just follow the patterns. You follow what's being done, and you should get through this relatively easy. It'll take you probably about 2 weeks to figure out exactly what you need to do every week, and it'll be just like clockwork. It's the same thing every week, okay? And that goes on all the way to where? To the very end, which is our week 18, week 19, the final exam. And that's going to be due on May 17th, okay? So you have the calendar that tells you what is due, and then you also have these. Now, I will tell you, it says, like, for example, it says May 17th, but it doesn't say 4 p.m., all right? So but I'm telling you right now, all the assignments are due at 4 p.m., and I just reviewed it in this class. I just reviewed it in this Zoom video, and you have it on your calendars, which is going to be really the saving grace for me, that I I don't need to make accommodations because it's very clear that it's due at 4 p.m. Okay? All right. That's all I got. What do you guys got? Do I get a tip or something, like, usually you get like a little extra tip or something whenever you do something right? No? No? Not today?
Yeah, I got a question. So you know how you said we could join like other discussions, like for your other accounting 2 classes that are online? Will we be invited to those lives like through an email?
No, you won't be able to be into those discussions. What I was trying to point out is that I hold office hours for those classes,
Oh, office
for that
hours.
class, and you'll be able to. I'll allow you guys to join me in those office hours. Okay, so
Oh, okay.
so that like Monday and Wednesday from 8:10 to 10 p.m. I'm going to post an announcement in this class that say, hey, I'm available on Zoom, which technically is not for this class, it's for the live class, but that's okay. You guys can join me.
Okay.
I'll be really nice. My birthday is
Thank you.
March 11th this spring, so you'll get an opportunity to send me a really nice gift. See?
For sure.
And I'll remind you, Alan, I love birthdays. I know I'm getting older, but birthdays are awesome. So, in fact, my last birthday is going to be memorable for forever because it was on a Wednesday, and we met for breakfast my entire family met for breakfast at the Wyndham, and we had a really very nice breakfast. It so happens that my niece her birthday is on the 10th, so we kind of celebrate both of our birthdays at the same time, which is great. I love that as well. Well, that was the last time that our family was able to get together because that day, that specific day, everything shut down and this COVID stuff happened. So hopefully, I doubt it'll be by this next birthday, but hopefully by the summer we'll be able to all get together again, and it'll be just like old times. Cross your fingers. Okay. Any other questions about anything about this class at all? Any areas at all? Any other questions? Okay, so I'm not seeing any. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And you are, oh, there's a chat here. Let's see. Oh, you're giving me the updates on the score, huh? I've got, it's being recorded as well, so I'll watch the game right afterwards. I'll go back. But so you're kind of ruining it for me, Alyssa, because I know the scores. You're not supposed to.
You picked the wrong timing.
Oh, I know. I was just thinking about that when I was getting. I'm like, are you kidding me? I put this when the college national championship game. Anyway, I have issues that I'm going to deal with right now with myself. All right. There may be some penalties. We'll just have to see. Right. We'll have to figure it out. Okay, guys. If you have no questions, thank you so much for being here. I was thinking that nobody was going to show up, but luckily we have at least the 3 of you that showed. And I'm going to finish recording this. This is a conversion, and then I have to upload it and put it. So it's probably not going to be available in Canvas until tomorrow. But if you were trying to figure out, didn't he say something about this or this, you'll be able to go back and review it. And then plus there's some students that this timing wasn't going to work for them. So we'll go ahead and make it available so that they can see it as well. Okay? Hopefully we address their questions even though they're not here to give those questions. Have a wonderful semester. I am here for you guys, okay? I'm here, that's what I get paid for, is to help you guys get through these courses. My objective is to make sure that you succeed. Now, that doesn't mean every student succeeds, but you know, most students who put their heart into this and they work hard, they get through this. And it's gonna be a challenge course. You guys all had Accounting 1, right?
Yeah.
Slam dunk. Did you guys take me at all for Accounting 1?
No, I took SCAF.
Oh, SCAF is really good. I'm better. Okay. So.
You were great.
Yeah, you should have known that before. That's okay. You got me in this class, so we're good. Anyway, I'm here for you guys. I will do everything I can to help you. I mean, obviously, I can't give you answers or anything, but I will help you get through this. and we'll work together so that you can succeed in this course, okay? In the meantime, be safe. Don't get this COVID. I can tell you firsthand, it is no joke and it's not fun. And then if you get symptoms that are bad enough, you start to get worried. In fact, I have a cousin, 25-year-old, that has already tested negative and still can't have a night at night without coughing to the point where he's not able to get sleep. Okay. I have another cousin who is my age who passed away about 4 months ago because of COVID. All right. So this thing is nothing to play with, which is why I, when I wasn't feeling good, I decided I'm going to go to the hospital to just have them run some tests. And thankfully, I came out okay. But it's protect yourselves. And if you do get it, recognize that most people get through it, but it's a struggle. And, but most importantly, you guys should be protecting your parents, okay? Make sure that they don't get it, because one of the biggest fear I have, my mom is 80, she just turned 80. And when everything happened, I had already been taking a lot of precautions about when I see her and how I interact with her. Although we are a traditional Mexican family, so there's no way she'll be happy with never seeing me and looking out a window for months. That's not going to fly. I mean, she's one of those Mexicans say, I'd rather die than that to happen, right? So we've had our little family get-togethers, or I've gone and visited her frequently. But one of the worst things that I was worried about was when I was positive, that I incidentally got her sick as well. But I had already taken precautions. In fact, the last time I saw her before I tested positive, I wasn't quite feeling right. So I did go visit her, because I visit her at least 3 times a week. And then in the last 2 times that I visited her, I actually ate outside. We were in the garage, and she wears a mask. She's good about wearing masks, and so thankfully she didn't get the virus, and she's still doing okay. And I just pray every day she'll be all right. But protect your family members, okay? Make sure that you keep them safe. If you get it, it'll probably just bounce off of you. Although, like I mentioned to you, I do have a cousin that's struggling right now, okay? So it doesn't always just bounce off. But protect your parents, all right? Because us old people, we're very vulnerable. My wife and daughter actually had it in April, and they had like really light symptoms. In fact, my wife, since she was quarantined, she just spent 2 weeks laying out by the pool, and she didn't really have any. The county people were calling and saying, "Okay, I'm just calling, checking up on Loretta, my wife." And so I take my phone, because they had my phone as the contact. I take them outside, and she's laying out by the pool, and the county, the person that was assigned to my wife's case said, well, that's one way with dealing with the pandemic, right? She's just hanging out by the pool. I was not as lucky as they were. Their symptoms were, well, my daughter's symptoms was actually a little bit worse, which is kind of funny. My wife's were really light. My daughter's was a little bit worse. She lost all of her sense of smell and taste for like about a month or 2. I was lucky I didn't lose that, but I did lose my appetite completely on Christmas Day. I just felt terrible that day, and that's why I went ahead and went to the doctor. So to make a short story long, please watch out for your families, watch out for your mom, your parents, and keep them safe, all right? Do what you can. And then I'm gonna speak for them on their behalf to you. Do not put your parents in a nursing home, okay? Don't do that. It's not cool, especially during this period of time. People can't even visit their parents right now because of these. And the nursing homes are good, and they're taking care of people, and they're doing their best. But man, this whole situation has made it so that it's not cool. So heads up, if my daughter decides to put me in a nursing home, you're going to be responsible to make sure you go pick me up and take me to your house to take care of me. All right? Yeah, that's good luck. Okay. All right. Any other questions? If not, I'm going to sign us out. Are we good? Okay. Take care, guys. Good luck to you, and we'll see you online. All right. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Bye-bye. You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.